shrimp. Do the pistol shrimp. Do the pistol shrimp. Do the pistol shrimp.
Welcome, everyone, to the Shrimply Good podcast, the podcast for all things Pistol Shrimp baseball. I'm Lucas Burris. That's Jayce Eustice, and welcome to episode 6 of the Shrimply Good podcast. This episode 6 is sponsored by Grand Bear Resort, and it is probably the most happy we've been coming into a Shrimply Good podcast all season. It's been pretty good, Jayce, hasn't it?
Oh, no, you could say that. And definitely recording here on Sunday, coming off a great win over at Veterans Memorial Park and finishing off a week with a winning week. I know that's something we've been looking forward to. And I know the players have, they've been saying for a while, things are coming, good things are coming. And I think we're starting to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great week for the Shrimp. They finished 3-2 overall. Above 500 for the first time all season long over a week. Not above 500 in the record column, but we'll get to how the record's going to look in just a little bit here later in the pod. But 3-2 over this week. They played 5 total games, and it was a good week for the Shrimp. We'll get into that in just a second. We're going to remind you this episode 6 sponsored by Grand Bear Resort, and we're doing something special this week on the Shrimply Good podcast. We're debuting what we're calling the fan question of the week. So every week now here at the Shrimply Good podcast, we're going to give away stuff to the fans. We love the fans so much. We love how many viewers and listeners we've been getting on the Shrimply Good podcast that we're going to now give away some stuff on the podcast. And to win, you have to listen. That's all you have to do, but you have to be able to remember what we said. So each week on the podcast, we talk about a whole bunch of different topics. And after the podcast is posted, we will post on Facebook and Twitter a graphic in which you can respond to in the comments or by replying on Twitter the answer to the fan question graphic. You'll see it. It'll be a big thing. It'll say the Shrimply Good podcast fan question of the week. Then it will say what the question is. And then all you have to do is respond with the correct answer to that question, and you'll be entered in for a chance to win whatever the prize is. This week's prize is brought to you by our podcast sponsor, Grand Bear Resort. It is a prize for a family day away prize pack. It's 4-day passes to the Canyon Falls Water Park, 4 passes to Canyon Creek Mini Golf, and an extra large pizza with 4 drinks. It's a family day away prize pack at Grand Bear Resort, and that's what we'll be giving away on. So Monday, you'll see that graphic post out. You'll be able to reply to it all week, and we'll pick a winner based off who answers the question correctly in the comments. And of course, we thank Grand Bear for sponsoring this podcast and the Shrimply Good podcast fan question of the week. So now that that's out of the way, let's hop into how the Shrimp did on this week of action. We'll start on Tuesday, where the Pistol Shrimp picked up win number 1 this week and set a good standard for what was to come this wonderful week for the Shrimp.
Yeah, you touched on it there, Lucas. It was a good 12-6 win over the Clinton Lumber Kings. Really, I mean, that was an Ironman start there for the Pistol Shrimp. You like what he gave you. Gave you 4 strong innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs over that, and 7 strikeouts. So maybe a little bit less. The bar that Ironman has set for himself is just so high, and we'll touch on that as we get to Sunday's game. But still a great outing for him. And then Rios came in relief. Palmblad did a great job out of the bullpen to kind of secure that win. And as far as over on the hitting side, Colton Coca went 3 for 4, had 4 RBIs in that one, and Will Worthington and Dom Soto each with 2 RBIs. It was a great win to really start this week and get them going on the right foot.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a 12-6 victory for the Shrimp at Nelson Corp Field in Clinton, which is a very good team. The Clinton Lumber Kings, a former affiliated A-club team in minor league baseball, now a part of the Prospect League this season. They got a great facility up there. They have a great, everything that they do. And it's good to see the Shrimp go out and get a victory over a team that is under 500 like us, but had a better record at the time than the Shrimp coming into that week. The Shrimp scored 13 hits in that game on 12 runs on 13 hits. Clinton 6 runs on 7 hits. But the big thing, you mentioned it a little bit, out of the bullpen, Ryan Ironman did a great job in the start. 4 innings pitched, only 3 runs given up. But Justin Rios out of the pen, 3 innings of work, only 1 run. It was not earned. Walked 1, struck out 2. Just 3 clean, quick innings of work from Rios. And that's what you want to see out of your bullpen, especially from a man who started the season making an impact on the lineup of this Pistol Shrimp team, but in recent weeks has found himself more in a pitching role and has done a great job as of late. Has Justin Rios in the pen, and the Pistol Shrimp from him, got the victory in this one over the Clinton Lumber Kings 12-6. But that was only game one against the Clinton Lumber Kings. The Shrimp would come back again the next day and face off against Clinton again at Clinton on Wednesday. And this game wasn't what the Pistol Shrimp wanted, as they were looking to win their first 2 straight games of the season. They ended up falling to Clinton on Wednesday.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Clinton is a tough opponent. They went into that game as a very close, hard-fought game. Ended up losing 3-4 in that one. Surin, Dahl, Kerr, and Manikowski and Sullivan combined to only give up 1 earned run, as it really was kind of the errors that the Pistol Shrimp made in the field during that game that really kind of lost it for him. The offense was only managed to get 3 hits and earned 4 walks in that game. As the bats really didn't get going in the second game against the Clinton Lumber Kings, and the pitching was good. It was just there was some errors in the field that gave up some unearned runs that the Pistol Shrimp weren't able to make up for. And this to split 1-1 over in Clinton is definitely not a bad way to start your week.
No, the big thing for the Shrimp in this one is it was such a close game, and they led at multiple portions in this game. They started the game 1-0, then it was 2-1 Clinton, then they tied it back up 2-2, took a 3-2 lead, and they just never saw the lead back. But they only trailed in this game for a total of 1 inning. A half inning in the bottom of the first and a half inning in the top of the ninth was all they ever trailed. They gave up 1 run in the bottom of the eighth to lose this game 4-3 to Clinton. And that's the thing we've seen recently from the Shrimp, is they just haven't been able to overcome that 1 run deficit that we continue to see from them. And it was kind of the same thing on this Wednesday night game, but a good game from the pitching staff, only giving up 4 runs in the ball game. Only 1 of them was earned. So we saw 5 pitchers go in this game for the Shrimp, and they only have a 1 earned run. Is a great outing out of your bullpen. The pitching staff, which we'll get to in a little bit later, has just been so good this week for the Shrimp, especially out of the bullpen. But after 2 games of play this past week, the Shrimp were 1-1 on the week, but they decided, hey, we'll lose another one and then we'll get on the winning path. So they took a trip to Danville the next day on Thursday and lost one to the Danville Dans 11-4.
Yeah, that game just kind of slipped out of the hands of the Pistol Shrimp. Damian White got hit around a bit in 4 1/3 innings pitched. He was 6 hits and 6 earned runs. And Danville jumped out early, but the Pistol Shrimp started to fight their way back into that game. But it was a big crooked number that the Danville Dans were able to put up in that game that kind of just put it out of reach. A couple bright spots in that game, though, is Damon Castillo was able to get a nice 4 for 5, kind of get his confidence going in the right direction. And also Logan Delgado hitting right behind him, went 3 for 4 as well with 3 RBIs. And we saw that a couple of times this week, of that 1-2 punch of Castillo and Delgado that manager Jakovic is kind of liking to see those two hitting back to back. They're definitely power threats and definitely someone in that lineup that you have to pay attention to. But there on Thursday, that game just kind of got away from them as they fell to 1-2 on the week. But, it's definitely against a division opponent that they've become quite familiar with. Not that bad of a loss when you look at it.
No, Danville's definitely a quality opponent this season, and they would punch them right back in the next game that they saw them, but they lost 11-4 on Thursday night. So let's travel to Friday, where the Pistol Shrimp returned home for the first time this week, and they got a nice victory over Danville on Friday night. It was a 5-2 victory in front of the home crowd at the game, which was a very good one for the Shrimp, a 5-2 victory.
Yeah, 80s big hair night definitely was a great night there for the Pistol Shrimp, and it was really led by the pitching. Evan Clark went out there 4 1/3, gave up just 2 hits, 0 earned runs, and 4 strikeouts. Nick Laxner did a great job coming in after him, and then Mitch Benson coming in to close it out. In that game, the offense was good enough. It was really the big blow was a 3-run shot by Logan Delgado that kind of just put that game out of reach and let the Pistol Shrimp just kind of cruise home with a nice, pretty simple, quick 5-2 win over Danville, and got him right back, just like you said, and got back to even at 2-2 on the week.
Yeah, absolutely. This big blow for the Pistol Shrimp this game was the Delgado 3-run shot. That was kind of just what all they needed in this game, getting the 5-2 victory over Danville, and the pitching staff led the way the entire time for the Shrimp in this one, as Evan Clark is kind of knocking on the door of Ryan Eierman as of late. He's been pretty good in his last few outings and had a great outing on the mound in this one to get the victory. And Mitch Benson out of the bullpen has just been absolutely great this season for the Shrimp. He picked up the save in this game. Then the Shrimp were supposed to travel to Danville on Saturday, but that game was postponed to July 9th. So they'll play a doubleheader against Danville at Danville on July 9th now. So the next game and the final game of this week, after the Shrimp were 2-2 after 4 games, happened on Sunday, which as we're recording is today. As you're listening, it was yesterday, but the Shrimp probably got their best win of the season on Sunday, 10-0 over the Springfield Sliders in 8 innings at home at the ballpark at Martin Equipment Night at the ballpark. The 10-0 victory the Shrimp got over the Sliders.
Yeah, we mentioned on Tuesday that Ironman gave you a pretty good start in that one. Well, in this game, Ironman gave you a tremendous start. Went out there in front of his family that was in town to see him start, went 5 strong innings, gave up just 1 hit, 2 walks, and it wouldn't be an Ironman start without seeing that double-digit strikeout as he continues to just roll through opposing lineups. Surin did a great job, too, coming in, only having to go the 2 innings, gave up 0 hits, just 1 walk and 3 strikeouts as they came in and combined for just the 1 hitter. And I know the 1 hit was a deep drive that we thought was probably going to get out of there, banked off the wall, but good job by this pitching staff. And on the offensive side, you got to give a shout out to Blake Atkins going 3 for 3, getting up 3 RBIs as well. Gary Maynard went 3 for 4, and Colton Coca with his first home run of the year on his 1 for 4 day, getting a 2-run shot to really get this offense going and get out to that 10-0 lead, 10-0 win, and finish this week at 3-2.
Yeah, it was a great win for the Shrimp, 10-0 over the Sliders. Ryan Ironman, like you said, a great start. The bullpen was great, especially Surin out of the pen, 2 innings of work. No hits, no runs, only 1 walk, struck out 3. The 10 strikeouts from Ryan Ironman on the mound. They only had to go 8 innings. We thought maybe it would just be 7, but we extended it 1 more inning for the, in quotations, walk-off for the Shrimp. It was an awkward walk-off, too, as Benji Reese scored Gary Maynard, and everyone was like, do we celebrate the walk-off? We did just win 10-0, so we should celebrate, but it's not that patented. It's a close game the whole time. No, the Shrimp came out and just immediately punched the Sliders in the mouth and just kept on punching. And it was the greatest thing we have seen from the Shrimp so far at home this season and in general, of just an offense that just did not stop throughout the entire game, and a pitching staff who had the Sliders off balance the entire time and didn't let their foot off the gas either. And that's what you want to see out of this Pistol Shrimp team versus a Sliders team who was very good. They still have an above 500 record. They've been not so good as of late. That was their 6th straight loss. But this Pistol Shrimp team is just looking better and better as the weeks go on, and they are just setting themselves up for second half success that we'll explain in just a little bit here. But to finish off the week, the Pistol Shrimp defeated the Springfield Sliders 10-0. They finished the week 3-2 overall, their first above 500 week on the season, and the Shrimp are heading into the second half of the season looking much better than they were just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree more. And really the turnaround that I've seen is just his pitching staff. And it seems like every single week, every single game, really, it's getting a lot better. I know the team ERA is now dipped under that 6 mark, and seeing at where we were just a couple weeks ago, it's a hard task to do, to have to continue to eat innings and lower that team ERA, because it can really inflate, and it did there at the beginning of the season. But great job by this Pistol Shrimp team. The starters have been setting the tone, and the guys in the bullpen have really found their roles, and everybody's starting to perform, and this team is starting to roll. And then this lineup continues to get more and more confidence. A very contact heavy lineup, and we saw today that they're best when they're stringing these hits together, and that's what they did this afternoon against the Springfield Sliders.
Yeah, the best way I think to describe this hitting team is exactly what you said there. They're not going to overpower you in the extra base hits category. If they start hitting extra base hits, they're very dangerous. And that's what we've seen today. You know, they hit that 10 spot. But what this lineup wants to do is they want to put their leadoff men on either by a walk or a single, and they just want to steal a bag, hit a single, and score a run, and let their pitching staff go to work. The strength of this team right now is most definitely that rebounding pitching staff, who had a very tough start to the season, but has now lowered their ERA a total of 4 runs. This team had an above 9 ERA, and it's now below 6. This team ERA just has been so good as of late, and it's really been the anchor of this team as of late. Let's dive into where they look at right now. The Pistol Shrimp are 9-19 on the season heading into the second half. 2 more games remain in the first half of the season. They're 5-7 at home, 4-12 away, 4th in the East. Wabash River Division, 9 games back of Lafayette. They have a .237 team batting average, which is 15th in the Prospect League and a 5.90 team ERA, which is 11th in the Prospect League. A team that once sat dead last in both has found their way back into the Prospect League standings and the Prospect League leaderboards. But the big thing to talk about here is 2 games left in the first half. Lafayette is still in a battle with Danville for the division crown in the Wabash River Division, but the Shrimp are out of contention at this point. You can sign their name on. They did not win the division in the first half of the season, but we've talked about it many times already, and we'll remind you again. Once they finish their doubleheader on Wednesday versus Rex, their first half season record is locked in a box, sent to shore, and forgot about forever because it doesn't matter anymore. They could have finished 0-30 in the first half, and it does not matter. That second half of the season, they will have a new slate of 30 games and another battle for the division crown. If the Shrimp are able to win the division in the second half, they will make the Prospect League playoffs.
Yeah, definitely anything can happen. And it seems like this Pistol Shrimp team is really kind of trending in the right direction, both from the pitching staff and from the lineup perspective. And it doesn't come as a surprise for people around the team because that's what we've heard. You know, we've heard from manager Jack and Mick, and we've heard from the players that have been here from the beginning is, you know, hey, be patient. It's gonna be rough in the beginning. Things are gonna look kind of rough. That pitching staff is gonna take a little while to get going. The regular guys in the lineup, and we're at the part of the season where hey, everyone's here. Everyone has at least a couple weeks under their belt, and it's just time to play ball now. And you could see from this week, they're kind of setting that tone and have 2 more chances of that doubleheader against Rex coming up on Wednesday, and hopefully finish this first half of the season with a couple more wins and just keep rolling into the second half of the season.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing for the Shrimp team is so many of the players, and I think it's so funny is some of them are unaware, a lot of fans were unaware as well of the reset, of them being told about, you know, well into this rough stretch to start the season that this doesn't matter anymore and you can just play has been so great for them as of late, realizing that they have another chance to make the playoffs, which is what all those players want to do. But they've been hot as of late, 3 wins this week now, almost close to breaking 10 wins on the season. Their home record is climbing up. They're almost at 500 at home. So it seems like at this point, every time the Pistol Shrimp play at home, the home crowd seems to be behind them. It doesn't even seem to be. The home crowd is behind them, and a lot of players are feeding into that as well. It's been a great atmosphere at Veterans Park. But let's look at which Pistol Shrimp players have really been feeding off that energy as of late. Let's look at the Pistol Shrimp Prospect League leaders as of right now.
Yeah, a couple league leaders there for the Pistol Shrimp. Blake Atkins, since coming to this team, has been on fire. Currently, he's 13th in the Prospect League as far as average goes at 371. He's also 7th in on-base percentage at almost 500, coming in at 487. Colton Coca comes tied in 9th place as far as hit by pitches. That's a painful category to be up there, the league leaders, but it's a good job there by Colton Coca just continuing to get on base. And the last one there on the offensive side is Andy Nelson, is tied for 16th in stolen bases at 7 already this season. And I'm sure they'd love to keep that going, as every time he gets on base, it seems like he's looking to at least take that second base.
Yeah, the offensive leaders, all kind of the grit hitter categories, you know what I mean? The stolen base category, the average, the OBP, and the hit by pitch, you know, just the very much a description of what this offensive team is all about. Yeah. But on the pitching side of things, I don't even think I have to tell you who's going to be on the leaderboards in this one. I got 5 bullet points in front of me, ladies and gentlemen, and they all say Ryan Eierman. Let's look at him. Ryan Eierman sits at 2nd in the Prospect League in ERA at 1.0 or 1.80. First in the Prospect League in wins, not even tied for first, just directly in first with 5 wins on the season. He is first in strikeouts at 60 strikeouts this season. He is 19 strikeouts higher than the next closest in the Prospect League. He is first in innings pitched in the Prospect League at 35, and he is first in batting average against at 113. Players are just not hitting Ryan Eierman flat out. They're not getting on base. He is 68 points lower in the batting average category than the next closest, 19 higher in strikeouts and 68 points lower in batting average against. Ryan Eierman is leading the Prospect League in 4 different pitching categories. Who's going to draft this man at this point?
I mean, I don't believe the Prospect League has any sort of Cy Young award, but he's definitely made a campaign for it as far as this season goes. And
There is a history of
there
awards.
is.
So
Okay.
Ryan Ironman is on a pace for, I don't have the name in front of me, but for the Pitcher of the Year award in the Prospect League, he is
Yeah.
flat out leading that.
And at this point, any fans of the Prospect League to kind of make an argument for another pitcher at this point would almost be ridiculous, as Ryan Ironman is kind of just taken this league and this team especially and just put it on his back. Just continues to carry another great performance here on Sunday. And I was interviewing him after the game, and he didn't even know that he had reached the 10 strikeouts until I asked him, and he's like, "Oh, thanks. I was stuck at 9 there for a while, and I was trying to get to that."
He
10.
was
So
too.
I was like,
It's so
he had to make sure he got that 10. So Ryan Ironman is just, every time he's on the mound, it's must watch TV.
Yeah. It's so funny watching him after the game too, because I watched like 5 people ask, "Hey Ryan, how many strikeouts did he have?" And he was like, "Well, Jayce told me it was 10, so I can tell people what it was now."
So I'm just gonna go with that.
He's good. Yeah. Well, it's what it was though. You know what I mean? He didn't know. He didn't have the stats in front of him. So after every Ryan Ironman strikeout, we're just gonna have to tell him his stat line. He was like, "Go tell everybody how good you were today, Ryan," because that's how it is at this point. I mean, we said, I think it was last week, you might have been here. It was me and Dom. I said, if you don't have Ryan Ironman's autograph, that's a man's autograph you want on this team right now, because next year he might not be playing in collegiate baseball any longer if he keeps on the stretch that he is at. But he's just been flat out dominant for this Pistol Shrimp team this year, leading the Prospect League in 4 different pitching categories. But now we've wrapped what's been. Let's look at what's to come for this Pistol Shrimp team. Let's preview this coming week as we enter into July and the second half of this Pistol Shrimp season. What's coming up first for us this week, Jayce?
Yeah, for this week, a little bit different. Obviously, the normal off day on Monday, but the Pistol Shrimp will also get a second off day coming this Tuesday, the 29th, so no game there. First game this week will be that doubleheader on Wednesday, June 30th. That'll be against Rex Baseball. They'll be coming to Peru. First pitch for the first game is at 4:30 p.m., and the second game is scheduled to start around 7 p.m. after the first one concludes. That'll be 2 7-inning ball games. That'll also be scout night at the ballpark, and we'll cover what that means here in a little bit. And after that will be another home game on Thursday, July 1st. That's against the Danville Dans. That's first pitch 7:05 p.m., and that'll be another exciting theme, Nate, for the Pistol Shrimp. Is I know Lucas is looking forward to. That is
Yes,
Bark in the Park night. There in Peru. And then after that, on Friday, July 2nd, they'll be traveling to Lafayette to take on the Aviators at 7:05 p.m. Then on Saturday, they will stay in Lafayette to take on the Aviators. The first pitch is at 7:05 p.m. as well. And they'll close out their week down in Normal Sunday, July 4th. And that first pitch will be a 5:35 p.m. start.
Yeah, absolutely. The Shrimp, 2 home games to start the week, 3 road games to end the week. So make sure you're at the ballpark on Wednesday and Thursday. Actually, 3 home games, I should say. There's a doubleheader on Wednesday, but 2 days of home games and then 3 days of away games. And of course, an Independence Day showing at the normal Corn Belters. I think the Corn Belters have fireworks that night as well at the ballpark. So that'll be a good time for the Pistol Shrimp to have an Independence game at a beautiful ballpark at the Corn Crib in Normal. But the games that you got to worry about Wednesday and Thursday, 4:30 p.m. on Wednesday, 7:05 on Thursday. Let's look at what's happening theme-wise on those nights. On Wednesday is that doubleheader. It's Scout Night, the Pistol Shrimp versus Rex Baseball. Like you said, doubleheader, 2 7-inning games. Make sure you come early, as the Scouts will be recognized on the field before the first game at about 4 p.m., so about a half hour before first pitch. And the food vendor at that game will be Tony's Butt Shack. And if you want to be recognized and you want to be a Scout, that do you register, you can see those links on our Facebook page for Scout Night. We just posted it on our Facebook page. So as you're listening to this, you'll see about 24 hours previous to when you're listening to this podcast now. On Sunday afternoon, we posted about how to register for Scout Night to make sure that your Scout can be recognized on Wednesday. And that's, of course, 2 7-inning games. So expect a good night of baseball versus Rex. And then the big night, my probably theme night that I have been looking the most forward to this season. It's Bark in the Park, benefiting Illinois Valley Animal Rescue. On Thursday, it's the Pistol Shrimp versus the Danville Dans at 7:05 p.m. All dogs are welcome at the ballpark. Please bring your dogs. I cannot stress this enough. Bring your dog. That's all that matters. We could not play a ball game. If you bring your dog, everyone will be happy. Like that is
It's a
the
win-win.
bottom line. There's also a lot of going on at the game. There's going to be a lot of dog related activities, a lot of dog related merchandise. There's a limited number of Pistol Shrimp Fear the Claw dog bandanas available at Central Bank in Peru anytime, but they'll also be available at the game, and they are free to anyone who wants them. But we also welcome a donation to the Illinois Valley Animal Rescue, IVAR, who the game is benefiting. So stuff you purchase at the game, parts of it will go to Illinois Valley Animal Rescue. And of course, donations always welcome. And an interesting food vendor that night, as well as Tangle Roots is our food vendor on Thursday night's game. So exciting stuff at the ballpark this week. Veterans Memorial Park in Peru. 2 games, 2 nights this week. Scout Night on Wednesday and Bark in the Park on Thursday. So make sure you head out to the ballpark and catch those actions or those games in action. But now it's time for the most exciting part of the Shrimply Good podcast. This episode 6 brought to you by Grand Bear Resort. It's time to name our Shrimply Good players of the week. We'll let you start, Jayce. Who are you stamping as Shrimply Too Good this week?
Yeah, definitely. This is not an easy decision, as there's a lot of players that I know me and you kind of went back and forth with. But for me, I gotta go with Blake Atkins. He had a great week, 6 games with a .471 average in this last week, 8 hits, 2 runs, 4 RBIs, 3 walks, 2 stolen bases, and an over 500 on base percentage at .571. And one of the most important stats that I saw as well, 0 strikeouts on the week. And with this Pistol Shrimp team that's very contact heavy, him being at the top of that lineup, either 1, 2, 3, wherever he finds himself, has great back control. And 9 times out of 10, he's going to put the ball in play. And that's a great thing to have for this team. And I got to give it to Blake Atkins.
It's a great pick. It was who was on the top of my list this week as well. Blake Atkins just had a great week for the Shrimp this week. But our second Shrimply Good player of the week and my Shrimply Good player this week is going to be Logan Delgado. Delgado played in 5 games this week, switching off between the catcher and the DH role. He had 5 hits, 3 runs, 6 RBIs, 1 double, 2 home runs, a walk, and a .632 slugging percentage. I could not pass up that slugging percentage from Logan Delgado. And both those home runs, very huge for the Shrimp. One of them, got the scoring going for them in a loss against the Danville Dans. The other one absolutely just won them the game versus the Danville Dans. So just an excellent week of action from both those players, Logan Delgado and Blake Atkins, our Shrimply Good players of the week. So it's been another good week of Pistol Shrimp baseball, that's for sure. Any final thoughts, Jayce?
No, I know I'm excited as well as the players are to kind of get these last 2 games in against Rex and just hit that metaphorical reset button and just get going. It's 0-0, start fresh and just get going. I mean, this team is shown that they can beat some very talented opponents. They've had some good wins, and I'm excited for what the rest of the season has to hold.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a good 30-game stretch for this Shrimp team in July. It's all happening at Veterans Memorial Park in Peru, so make sure you come out for a game. The first half ends after Scout Night on Wednesday, so we're starting off the second half on a good foot, a dog foot, if you'll have it, as Bark in the Park Night happens on Thursday. Make sure you're bringing out your dogs. Don't forget about Scout Night on Wednesday, and make sure that you're checking out our social media pages for the Shrimply Good fan question of the week as well, as we'll send that out. Make sure you like and subscribe and everything you need to do with the podcast, whether you're listening or watching on YouTube. Make sure you're following our social media. It's Pistol Shrimp Baseball everywhere except on Twitter. It's P Shrimp Baseball. But if you type in Pistol Shrimp Baseball in the search bar, you'll find us wherever you're looking for us. But until we see you next time, hope you see you at the ballpark on Wednesday and Thursday. And remember, if you can't make it to the games, you can catch Pistol Shrimp Baseball on Prospect League TV. It's the only way to watch outside of the ballpark. Just go to prospectleague.tv to find Pistol Shrimp baseball games. And thank you for tuning into another episode of the Shrimply Good podcast. This episode 6 brought to you by Grand Bear Resort. We will see you next time. Thank you for stopping by, and fear the claw.
Do the pistol shrimp. Do the pistol shrimp.